They built a magic kingdom. But before the castle, they built a neon sin city. The electric sign buzzes in the Kyoto rain. It screams, Nintendo, in red ink. But there are no plumbers saving princesses here. Only men paying by the hour. This is the dirty scandal they have spent 50 years trying to scrub away. Kyoto, 1963. The city is a desperate animal, clawing for post-war survival. In the shadows of the ancient temples, a new dark industry is catching fire. They call them love hotels, short stay, anonymous, strictly for the flesh. And the man counting the cash at the register, he is the father of gaming, Hiroshi Yamauchi, the man who would eventually give you your entire childhood. But first, he had to drag his prestigious family name through the gutter. Forget the mushrooms. This empire was built on wet sheets and cheap lust. This isn't a footnote. It is a crime against their own carefully curated legacy. The records are buried deep. They wanted this history erased from the earth. But tonight, we are digging up the bodies they tried to hide in the basement. Welcome to the empire of vice that funded the innocent dreams of the world. To understand the sin, you must look into the cold, dead eyes of the sinner. Hiroshi Yamauchi didn't want to run a card company. He absolutely loathed it. He was 22, a university dropout, a tyrant wearing a baby's face. His grandfather died, and the heavy iron crown was forced onto his head. The grey-haired executive saw a spoiled child. He saw a room full of traitors. His first act, he fired every single manager who dared to look him in the eye. He cleared the board in a single afternoon. It was a corporate execution. But the playing card business was dying. The margins were thinner than paper. And the customers? They were the Yakuza, gangsters, gamblers, and killers. Nintendo's Hanafuda cards were the currency of the illegal underground dens. Yamauchi saw the missing fingers of his clients, and he smelled the danger. He thought they were too small. He wanted to rule it all. He flew to America. He saw the massive scale of Disney. He saw the scale of Coke. He returned to Japan with a hunger that would threaten to devour him whole. He tried selling instant rice. It tasted like industrial glue. It failed hard. He launched dire taxis. But the unions were ready for a violent war. He was desperate. The century-old fortune was bleeding out on the floor. He needed cash, fast cash, dirty cash. He didn't care where it came from. He looked at the red light districts, the neon humming in the dark streets. And just like that, the card maker became the pimp of Kyoto's underbelly. The business model was brutal efficiency, high turnover, cash in envelopes. They bought real estate in the seediest, darkest arteries of the district. No questions asked, no names on the register, just rest or stay rates. The Nintendo name was on the deed, hidden deep behind shell companies. The cash flow was immediate. It was a heroin addiction for the accountants. And Yamauchi? He didn't just own the sin. He reportedly consumed it daily. He was the VIP, a married CEO using his own hotels for his own affairs. The hypocrisy was staggering, but the arrogance was absolutely blinding. The money paid for the lights. It paid for the failed experiments in the lab. For a moment, it worked. The Love Hotel era was a fever dream gold rush. But when you build your castle on a swamp, you eventually begin to sink. The clientele degraded fast. It wasn't lovers anymore, it was thugs and rats. The police raids increased. The reputation turned radioactive overnight. Yamauchi walked the halls, the smell of cheap perfume choking his lungs. Was this the legacy? Selling hourly privacy to cheaters and criminals? The shame began to creep in. A cold, slow rot settling deep in his gut. But greed is a powerful drug. He couldn't stop the flow of dirty yen. He expanded. More rooms, more themes, doubling down on the darkness. Nintendo was no longer a company. It was a desperate, sweating addict. Then, the floor fell out. The Japanese economy began to shift violently. Industrialization was commanding it, and unions had much more power. Yamauchi sat in his office, the walls literally closing in on his empire. The unions weren't just negotiating, they were breaking the company's legs. The stock price crashed to 60 yen. the price of a cheap bowl of noodles. "You are ruining us," the investors screamed. "You are a disgrace to us." He had fired the old guard for incompetence, but he was the only failure. The Love Hotel cash couldn't cover the massive losses from the taxis. The brand was toxic. No reputable bank in Japan would touch them now. The debts were mounting. They owed millions to the wrong kind of people. Yamauchi looked in the mirror. He didn't see a tycoon. He saw a ghost. He had tried to be an emperor. He ended up a slumlord in a cheap suit. The employees whispered. They knew the end was coming for the family. The factory lines were silent. The Yakuza card presses were growing cold. There was no Mario to save him. There was only looming bankruptcy. He had to make a choice: keep the vice revenue or kill the entire dream. He shut down the hotels. He sold the taxis. He purged the rot from the books. But the debt remained. A heavy, suffocating blanket of red ink on his soul. Nintendo was dead. It was just a corpse, waiting to fall over in the street. 1966. The office is a ghost town. The fluorescent lights are barely on. Yamauchi walks the factory floor, a king ruling over a ruined kingdom. He sees a maintenance man in the corner. The man is Gunpei Yokoi. He has built a weird, extending arm out of plastic lattice and wood. Yamauchi stops. The anger boils hot and fast in his chest, to fire the man for wasting the company time. But then, he looks closer. The arm grabs a cup. It snaps back. It's fun. It's stupid. It's innocent. It's the exact opposite of him. The contrast hits him like a bullet. The hotels were dark and shameful. This toy? This toy is light. It is pure. It is a weapon against the dark. Make it, Yamauchi orders. Make it a product. Do it right now. The Ultra Hand was born, not from strategy but from sheer boredom. It sold 1 million units. It cleared the debts in a single month. The Love Hotel money was gone. The toy money was finally here. Yamauchi had an epiphany. Vice has limits. Imagination has absolutely none. He pivoted the entire company. No more sex, no more cards, no more playing gangster. Only pure, clean play. He buried the past. He burned the records of the hotels and the taxis. He became the strict, family-friendly face we know and love today. But the ruthlessness, that never left him. It just changed its shape. Today, Nintendo is the Disney of the East. Pure, pristine, untouchable. But look closely at the business model. It is still a masterful trap. They lock you in their ecosystem. They strictly control the supply. Yamauchi ran Nintendo like a Yakuza boss until his very last day. He bullied developers. He crushed rivals. He ruled by absolute fear. The Love Hotel owner didn't die. He just started selling video games. Every time you buy a Switch, you are paying that young, ruthless man. The man who sold sheets by the hour, just to save his family dynasty. Mario might be a hero, but his father was a villain. The Love Hotels are gone, but the walled garden stands taller than ever. They don't rent rooms by the hour. Now they rent your entire childhood. It is the same cold iron grip. It is just wearing white cartoon gloves. The pimp of Kyoto didn't change. He just learned how to sell a plumber.